Welcome to today's session on personal web page development. Basically, earlier discussions we have already seen what are personal web pages and briefly how to develop them. And again, it all depends on your visualization and the data which you would like to have inside your personal web page. Now, what we will be doing is we have already studied about frames. Frames play a major role in the website development. So even in the personal web page development, frames play a major role. So we'll be dwelling more into the application of frames to the design of personal web pages. So what we'll be doing here is that we'll be studying about the frames which can be utilized in web page development. So let's have a look at this particular image. Here what we are doing is the HTML inline frame element, that is iframe. Earlier we have seen a tag called frame, but in the case of HTML 5.0 we will be using the iframe tag. It represents a nested browsing context embedding another HTML page into the current one. So suppose you have some information in another website, that information you want to provide in one portion of the current web page. So what you can do is that particular a frame can be created which divides the web page into two parts, and in one part for the frame you can have the source of the other web page which you want to be seen here. So whenever a person loads this particular web page, it will be automatically shown as two parts, and one part will be having that web page which you would like, and basically at the behind the screen what happens is that it is the frame which is basically facilitating all these things. So it is possible to use or embed another HTML page into the current one using the HTML inline frame element called the iframe. For example, how to create an iframe? If you have a look at the code, iframe id is equal to inline frame example, title is equal to inline frame example, width is equal to 300 and height is equal to 200. Now first let us focus on all these four elements. Okay, id is the name you can say for that particular frame, and then title is something that will be displayed for that particular one, and width and height are the area that will be occupied by the frame. You can even see that frame to your right. So there are four labels here. One is ID, the other is title, the other is width, and the other is height. One important thing is that at the starting phrase is iframe, that is opening tag, and you can see the closing tag iframe, and there is a lot of information in between. Now the most important thing is that we need that particular address of the web page which can be shown in this particular frame. So that one is indicated with a label src. Src means source of the frame. So src is equal to, for example here, https://www.openstreetmap.org/export/embed.html, and then we have the vbox and then a closing iframe tag. So the source website is already given as https://www.openstreetmap.org/export/embed.html. So this is the web page that will be displayed in the frame, but that web page may be occupying the full screen of the PC. But once it is shown in the screen, it will be zooming in to the area of the frame which is defined by height and width attributes, where they are 200 and 300. So each embedded browsing context has its own session history and document. The browsing context that embeds the others is called the parent browsing context. The topmost browsing context, the one with no parent, is usually the browser window represented by the window object. Because each browsing context is a complete document environment, every iframe in a page requires increased memory and other computing resources. While theoretically you can use as many iframe as you like, you can check for some problems, because if you are using the tags inappropriately without not visualization of the website, there may be performance issues of the website. So the content categories are flow content, phrasing content, embedded content, interactive content, and palpable content. Then the permitted content needs to maybe none, and in the case of tag omission, it can be none, like both starting and ending tag are mandatory. So suppose you have started the iframe tag and you did not have the closing tag, that may lead to behavior that may not be deterministic, or it may even lead to the errors. Then the permitted parents are any element that accepts the embedded content. Implicit ARA role, for example, here in this case there is no corresponding role. Then the permitted ARA roles, we have application, document, none, and the presentation. And then ultimately DOM interface is HTML iframe element. So one important thing which you have to see is that here the word DOM means it is the document object model. It is a very old model but very sophisticated model. This element includes the global attributes. Some of the global attributes are allow, allow full screen, allow payment request, and there are many more. In the case of allow, it specifies a feature policy for the iframe. The policy defines what features are available to the iframe based on the origin of the request, that is access to the microphone, camera, battery, web share API, and other things. So if you consider allow full screen, then it is set to true if the iframe can activate full screen mode by calling the request full screen method. The attribute is considered a legacy attribute and redefined as allow is equal to full screen. Then we have allow payment request. This particular control is set to true if a cross origin iframe should be allowed to invoke the payment request API. Again, this attribute is considered a legacy attribute and redefined as allow payment. So the most important things are that whatever you want to do with that frame, you need to specify through different attributes. Now let us see the CSP. CSP stands for Content Security Policy. A content security policy enforced for the embedded resource. Okay, CSP is one of the elements or controls. Then the height of the frame in CSS pixels, and the default is 150, that is 150 is the default height. Then you have loading. It indicates how the browser should load the iframe, and here you can have an eager loading or a lazy loading. In the case of eager loading, load the iframe immediately, regardless if it is outside the visible viewpoint, then this is the default value. Now in the case of lazy loading, you can say defer loading of the iframe until it reaches a calculated distance from the viewpoint as defined by the borrower. Now let us consider another control called a name, a targetable name for the embedded browsing context. This can be used in the target attribute of the A, form, or base elements. The form, for example, if you have this particular element, what you need to do is that you need to use again appropriate inside attribute for the same. So here what you can do is that in the case of the name attribute, you can always have like form target attribute of the input or button elements or the window name parameter in the window.open method. Now let us see the referrer policy. It indicates which referrer to send when fetching the frame's resources. No referrer, the referrer header will not be sent. Then the other one is no referrer when downgrade. This is the default one, and here the referrer header will not be sent to origins without HTTPS or TLS. Then you have the origin attribute. Here the sent referrer will be limited to the origin of the referring page. its scheme, host and the post. Then origin when cross origin. Okay, here the referrer sent to other groups will be limited to the schema, the host and the port. So navigations on the same origin will still include the same path. Then we have the same origin. In this, a referrer will be sent for same origin, but cross origin requests will contain no referral information. Then we have strict origin. Only send the origin of the document as the referrer when the protocol security level stays the same. So here you have HTTPS to HTTPS, that is a secure hypertext transfer protocol, but hasn't sent it to a less secure destination. So it's like HTTPS to HTTP. So if your website starts with HTTPS, and don't expect it to go to something where it starts with HTTP unless you have a control appropriately, otherwise it will not work there. So you have a strict origin when cross origin. So you send a full URL when performing a same origin request. Only send the origin when the protocol security level stays the same, HTTPS to HTTPS, and send no header to a less secure destination, that is HTTPS to HTTP. Now let us see the unsafe URLs. The referrer will include the origin and the path, but not to the fragment, password or username. This value is unsafe because it leaks the origins and paths from TLS protected resources to insecure origins. Now let us see what is very interesting, that is the sandbox. It applies extra restrictions to the content in the frame. The value of the attribute can either be empty to apply all restrictions or space separated tokens to lift particular restrictions. Allow downloads without user activation. It will allow for downloads to occur without a gesture from the user. Then we have allow forms. It allows the resource to submit forms if this keyword is not used. Form submission will be blocked. Then we have allow models. So this is the resource open model windows. Allow orientation lock lets the resource lock the screen orientation. Allow pointer lock, it lets the resource use the pointer lock API. Allow pop-ups, it allows pop-ups such as window.open, target blank or show model dialog. If the keyword is not used, the pop-up will silently fail to open. So here what you can see is that you have allow pop-ups to escape the sandbox. So let's the sandbox document open new windows without those windows inheriting the sandboxing. For example, this can safely sandbox an advertisement without forcing the same restrictions upon the page the ad links to. Then we have allow presentation, which lets the resource start a paperless presentation session. Allow same origin. If this token is not used, then the resource is treated as being from a special origin that always fails the same origin policy. Then we have several controls such as allow scripts, allow storage access by user activation, allow top navigation by user activation. Now in the case of allow scripts, it lets the resource run scripts but not create pop-up windows. We have allow storage access by user activation. It lets the resource request access to the parent storage capabilities with the storage access API. Then we have allow up navigation. It lets the resource navigate the top level browsing context, the one named top. Then we have allow top navigation by user activation. It lets the resource navigate the top level browsing context, but only if initiated by a user gesture. So what we have seen is the sandbox, which is very important. Then we have seen some elements. Now let us see some more about the sandboxing. When the embedded document has the same origin as the embedding page, it is strongly discouraged to use both allo scripts and allo same origin, as that lets the embedded document remove the sandbox attribute, making it no more secure than not using the sandbox attributes at all. Then sandboxing is useless if the attacker can display content outside a sandboxed iframe, such as if the viewer opens the frame on a new tab. Such content should also be served from a separate origin to host to limit potential damages. Then the sandbox attribute is unsupported in Internet Explorer 9 and earlier. So backward compatibility is a problem when you are using the sandbox. It is supported only from Android version 9 but not into the prior editions. Now let us see the source, that is SRC. The URL of the page to embed. Use a value of about blank to embed an empty page that conforms to the same origin policy. Also note that programmatically removing an iframe's source attribute causes about blank to be uploaded in the frame in Firefox, like version is 65, that is where from the version starts, and then Chromium based browsers and such as Safari and any other operating system. Now let us see what is this ArcDoc. Inline HTML to embed overriding the Arc satellites. If a browser does not support the SRC doc attribute, it will fall back to the URL in the SRC attribute. Then you have width. The width of the frame in CSS pixels, and the default width is 300. Then we have some deprecated attributes. Basically these attributes will in due course will be completely removed, and in case in the code you have used the deprecated attributes, you better upgrade them to the latest equivalent attributes. Otherwise after some time maybe the compilers will not support these attributes and the software becomes completely utilized, as nobody can really visualize what's missing and what needs to be replaced. That is something which is very tough in the field of computer science. So basically the attributes that are deprecated and maybe longer is supported by user agents, and you should not use them in the new content and try to remove them from the existing content. Now let us see the align controller, the alignment of the element with respect to the surrounding visit or context. So then we have frame border, like the value 1, which is the default, draws a border around this frame. The value 0 removes the border around the frame, but you should instead use the CSS property border to control iframe borders. Then we have long description, which is denoted by LONGDESC. A URL of a long description of the frame's content. Due to the widespread misuse, this is not really helpful for non-visual browsers. Then we have margin height, the amount of space in pixels between the frames that have content and its top and bottom borders. Then we have margin width, the amount of space and items between the frame's content and the left and right borders. So now let us see about scrolling. It indicates when the browser should provide a scroll bar for the frame. Auto. This particular option, when exercised, what happens is that only when the frame's content is larger than its season. Then we have yes, which means that you need to show a full scroll bar. Then you have a no, which means that you are new to scroll bar. Then we have non-standard attributes. For example, Mozilla browser. Okay, so here we can say that you set bug so and so for exposing this to the web extensions in the Firefox. So then we have these all are non-standard attributes. Okay, so we have to, in the case of Mozilla browser, we can also see to the bugs for exposing web extensions in the Firefox. So it makes the iframe act like a top level browser window. So these are some of the very important things. Now let us move to the scripting. Okay, in the case of scripting, the inline frames like frame elements are included in the window.frame pseudo array. When the document object model like HTML iframe element objected, scripts can access the window object of the framed resource through the content window property. The content document property refers to the document inside the iframe name, and it is the same as the content window document. From the inside of a frame, a script can get a reference to its parent window with window.parent. Script access to a frame's content is subject to the same origin policy. Scripts cannot access most properties in other window objects if the script was loaded from a different origin, including scripts inside a frame accessing the frame's parent. Cross-origin communication can be achieved using window.postMessage. Now let us learn a little about the positioning and scaling. As a replaced element, the position, alignment and scaling of the embedded document with the iframe's element box can be adjusted with the object position and the object fit properties. So there are many ways to do the scripting also, as well as you decide to have an option of a scroll bar and other things. Now let us have a look at a simple example. An iframe in action after creating the frame when the user clicks a button is like the one displayed on the page. So I have just go through the HTML code which created it. Like it starts with the iframe, you have to plug in this particular code in appropriate place on your web pages so that it really runs and shows that which is missing. So it starts with an iframe opening tag and it closes with the iframe opening closing tag. So here the SRC means the source, which mentions that https://mdn samples.mozilla.org/snippets/html iframe you have. So again you have a closing iframe tag also. The title is iframe example 1 and whose width is 400 as well as 300, which is the height. You can see the output on the image. Then let us have a look at the accessibility concerns. People navigating with assistive technology such as a screen reader can use the title attribute on an iframe to label its content. The title's value should consciously describe the embedded content. For example, iframe title is equal to Wikipedia page for Anagdavas. So this is something that is reserved. Okay, you have an iframe and its title is given. Then you have the avocados whose SRC is https://Wikipedia website. So you have an iframe, then you have the source from the Wikipedia page. So without this title, they have to navigate into the iframe to determine what is embedded content is. This context shift can be confusing and time consuming, especially for pages with multiple iframes and you can say or if embeds contain interactive content like this video also. Then let us have a look at the specifications. In the case of specifications, you have the referrer policy, you have HTML living standard, you have HTML5, you have HTML 4.0.1 specification, then you have screen orientation API. So here I am going through the status of each of these specifications. So here in the case of referrer policy, the status will be CR, that is candidate recommendation, and the comment can be that it added the referrer policy attribute. Now in the case of HTML living standard, the status will be ls, which is a living standard. Then you have HTML5, the status will be REC or recommendation. Then you have HTML 4.0.1 specification. Here you have again REC recommendation. Then you have screen orientation, WD, means it means working draft. So it adds allow orientation lock to the sandbox attribute. Now let us see where these things work and where these things don't work. See, one very important thing is that whenever you are designing a web page, whatever you are using in them, they don't sometimes work on all the browsers. So you have to check what works where. Okay, only if it is useful and works in many of the browsers, then it is useful to be used. Otherwise, it is better to avoid and find something instead which will be useful against all the browsers. So you don't need to again write the code for designing the web pages to fulfill some of the controls as they are not being supported. So if you consider the iframe is supported almost all the browsers. For example, let me just read out the browsers. One is the Chrome, the other is Edge, the other is Firefox, then you have Internet Explorer, Opera, Safari, Android WebView, Chrome for Android, Firefox for Android, Opera for Android, then you have Safari on iOS, and then you also have Samsung Internet in case of you are having a Samsung smartphone. Okay, so you have different elements, iframe, like other is Align. Align is also used across. Okay, it is also supported across many browsers. Then you have allow tag, that is also supported, but in the case of Internet Explorer and Firefox for Android, it is not supported. Then you have allow full screen, it is also supported across all the browsers. Okay, now let us see some more tags. One is allow payment request. It is not supported across many browsers. Then we have aspect ratio computed from the width and height attributes. It is again not supported in the case of Internet Explorer, but it is supported across all the browsers. Then we have external protocol URLs blocking, then that is supported by some browsers and some browsers don't support. Then you have the frame border, height, loading, long description, margin height, margin width, then you have the name, referrer policy, sandbox. See, sandbox again is also not supported on some browsers. Okay, so allowing downloads by the sandbox, allowing models by the sandbox, allowing pop-ups by the sandbox, all these are restricted. They are not supported across. So sandbox is having many attributes that are not supported across some browsers. So better you limit the usage of sandbox. Scrolling, it is supported across all the browsers. Source, it is supported across all the browsers. Source document is not again supported against one browser. I mean, it is not supported by one browser. Then width is supported by all the browsers. Okay, so when something is supported, you should also check to what extent you are getting the support. Okay, in case you are not getting support, then you better avoid it. Always try to use such attributes or elements that are supported by the maximum number of browsers. Okay, so then we can also see the detailed iframe element, but we have already seen all these things earlier. So in case you have any doubts, okay, you please email me on pvsuresh@igno.ac.in, and I thank you for joining me in this discussion. Thanks a lot.